works. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Monday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on WNSR. Darren and Justin, and we are live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Hope everybody had a great weekend. DJ Damon is alongside. He's got his hoodie up. You can't see him. We can. He's incognito. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's been out there putting people on blast on social media. I'm not sure. But he's alongside for the ride for the next 2 hours. A week from today, there will be another live and local show following us starting a week from today.
Yes!
George Blaster Show with Kelly Holcomb, Watson Brown, Billy Derrick, that crew, they'll be following us Monday through Friday, starting next Monday.
Very cool.
Right when we sign off at 4 o'clock. They'll take over until 6, so good to know there. Justin, how was your weekend?
Weekend was okay. Nothing too eventful. We did some spring cleaning there at the McFarland household, at least the McFarland household that I live in. And it was fine. It was really fine. Didn't get around to the yard work. We cleaned inside. I meant to go outside and just never made it. Just time expired. So my neighbors may be a little bit more upset with me than usual because the grass is taller than the neighbor on the other side. I'm that guy.
You do it yourself?
I'm that guy. Well, it's a townhouse. We don't have,
All right, fair enough.
It's just getting the time to get out there and do it.
They don't do it?
No.
You have to do it?
Yeah.
Your little you probably have a little patch?
Yeah, it's not. It takes me about 40 minutes to do front and back. It's not that bad. But, it's just the process of you got to go do it at some point. It's not that it's tedious. It's just at some point you got to stop, go outside, pull out the mower out the shed, and, you got to start it up and it won't start, then start it up and it won't start. Then you just got to do it. And, it's the process. Just didn't get around to it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So,
I've had a lot of firsts for like 3 out of the last 5 days.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of firsts in my life. I don't know why I'm laughing. I think it's like a nervous laugh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad putting it behind.
Yeah.
Like Thursday, and I told this, I told this to
well, you can say it now. You can really talk about it now.
Yeah. I told this to John and Pat, and this morning on their show, they asked me to come on. John had reached out late last night after the Predators game. I told you the minute the Predators game was over, the TV went off.
Switch off.
Because I was up early this morning, and then so I told him. I said, look, man, I got to do some jury duty.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life. Rutherford County jury duty.
Yes.
And I got dismissed. So when I got dismissed, I was walking to the car. I texted him back. They were already in their show. And I said, hey, if you still want me to come on, I'll come on and talk about the game. And so I was on at 10 o'clock on their show. But, case was dismissed.
Good.
Completely dismissed. So that was my whole experience going through it. I never really got close.
Okay.
And the month apparently is over. Like you do it for a whole month.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to have any more trials in Rutherford County. So
just on
apparently
standby.
That's it. No, they say like I'm done.
No, you were on standby for the whole month. Though.
Yes.
You know, waiting and possibly, and then all of a sudden here it comes. People don't realize, and I've spent a lot of time sitting around in courthouses, both near and far, believe me. It is, I can't tell you how many times I've been to a courthouse ready to go, big trial. Continuance. Yeah, we're not, what? Yeah, I'm waiting for the perp walk. You're supposed to walk him right down. No, he's not coming. No, we've continued. Until when? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks. What? Yeah, I mean, it's a different universe. They move at their own speed down there. They do a great job. I'm not trying to take shots at those folks, but the system is complicated. Extremely complicated. Lots of wrinkles in the law, lots of things that can hold up a case, lots of things that can. So, it's just a different universe. They move how they move. And until then, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. But you better be here. You better have your tail in the seat. But just hold on. We'll be right with you eventually.
Yeah, it was pretty cool just to experience it. Like the judge came in and told the whole room. The room was, I told you there were 128 was the number?
Yeah.
I think 128. And obviously they were just going to pick age or so 12?
12.
Or 14, 12 and 2 alternates.
Yeah, there you go.
14.
There you go.
And but then he came in and said, hey, there's multiple defendants. Apparently the victim has fled the state. That's their belief. This thing currently is being dismissed.
Okay.
So it's going away, and you guys are free to. Everybody's free to leave.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Okay.
Then away I'll go. Thank you. Thanks for the experience.
Okay.
Do I still get my $11?
Yes, you do. There
Okay.
you go.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
$11 in free parking. So.
Yes, that's right. $11 in free parking.
Free parking.
No free food.
No?
No.
Okay.
None of that. So, anyways.
Enjoy.
So, yeah. Last night. Let's talk about that. Let's start there.
All right.
Predators fall in game 1.
Yeah.
In Vancouver. A game where they were up good portion of the game.
Yeah.
And then had a real lapse for 12 seconds in the third period.
Yeah.
If you blinked, you were like, what? Because I literally tweeted, I just blinked. What did I miss?
Yeah.
If you blinked, you missed 2 goals. Yeah. You went to go get a drink. You went to the bathroom.
Get some microwave popcorn.
Yeah.
Come back.
You missed 2 goals and a Predators lead.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
So overall, your thoughts?
Is this a replay?
Were what?
All right, a couple of different things. Actually, a lot of things stood out to me. Number one, obviously the emotions are very high there in Vancouver. Something unique happened last night, and I'll get to the actual game here in just a second. But that one little portion, because I watched literally from the anthems, through a certain period. Then I had to go to sleep and rewatch the rest. Once I woke up. But the moment that that crowd there at the Rogers Center. The person singing "Oh Canada" stopped and lifted up the microphone to have them sing. The 8, however many thousand people were there at the Rogers Center singing "Oh Canada." I'm like, jeez, okay, these folks are into it. In a way and on a level that it felt like almost an Olympic type of thing. Versus like this is our pride on the line in here, and the Preds was just in our way on this grand mission we're on. Is the way it kind of felt. Then you got into the actual game. Preds were highly competitive early, missed some really golden opportunities in that first period to kind of crack it open. Then, got the early lead up 2-1. Then we get to that dreaded third period. And this is not the first time that we've had problems in the third period, which is what we're going to hear from some of the coaches and players here talking about that third period in particular. The other thing that stuck out, Darren, is The Vancouver Canucks have beat the Predators now 4 times this year. In all 4 games, they have scored 2 goals per game. 2 in all 4 of the losses. 5-2, I think it was 4-2, 3-2. Last night was 4-2. You know, if they can't break the 2-goal threshold against this bunch, they're not going to be able to win this series. They're not going to be able to win a game. They've got to find a way to capitalize on every single, and it's not enough just to say, well, the next one's coming down the pike. Nah, man. They got to capitalize on every single goal. They have got to find a way. And I don't think Vancouver is just that much better. That's the other thing I want to take away from last night's game. I don't think Vancouver is just that much better than the Preds. I think the 2 teams are relatively close, but the Preds have got to capitalize on everything. When you're them in that situation, you got to find a way to get the biscuit in the basket more often than twice, and they just couldn't do it, and they haven't been able to do it in the previous 3 games to this one. And, you know, until they can find a way to do that, then this, you know, I know we felt confident that they were going to win a game, but if they can't score more than 2 goals, they're not going to win a game. It's just that simple to me.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that assessment completely. You're just not. I mean, look, it doesn't have to be like Winnipeg and Colorado, which was crazy.
Yeah.
7-6.
Yeah.
But you're right. They're going to have to find a way to score more goals. Before I kind of weigh in on my thoughts, I think we have Andrew Burnett.
We do.
That we can hear a little bit of what the head coach had to say after losing game 1. See, is he down? Is he optimistic? I know what he's going to say.
Okay.
But let's let everybody hear a little bit of what Burnett said.
I thought we were starting to take over the game, and we fall asleep on a shift in the offensive zone, lose assignments, don't block a shot. It's 2-2, and I thought we had a lot of momentum going there. So that's hockey. We got to learn from it, move on, etch-a-sketch memory, short term, and move straight ahead.
Missing a chance to steal a game 1 like that, are you worried that kind of thing can linger in a locker room over the next couple of days?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think this group's been resilient. We've handled adversity all year. I think to a man, we know we probably didn't play our best, but we've done a really good job of just moving straight ahead. Just forget about it, rinse it, and let's go back to work. It was a fun game. I think the emotions were high. It was physical. Had a lot of good, hard playoff games. We kind of relished in that. And like I said, we stepped on our toe a little bit. And, you know, give them credit. They were resilient too. I mean, and they took advantage of some opportunities that self-inflicted a little bit on our side, but they played really hard. And I was really proud of our group, how we handled it early and how we kind of started, in my mind, take the game over, and we just didn't finish the job. So lesson learned. It's a long series, and can't wait for the next game.
I'm not surprised at all by his answers, okay, because this is what I learned for a decade doing Predators pregame, postgame, intermission, and traveling with them during the playoffs. They're very good. They are trained, these coaches and these players, they are trained in a 7-game series to, as he said rinse. Flush is what, flush and move on.
Etch-a-sketch memory.
Win, don't get too high, move on. Like if you win, okay, it's a game, move on. You lose, flush, and you move on. That's just a mentality, and it's the right mentality in these series because this is what I've learned. These series, it is truly game by game, okay? You can see a 7-1 butt whooping in a game, and you can turn around and see the other team win the next game. It is that because that's the mentality you have to keep. You don't get too high. You don't get too low. And you have to be able to keep that consistent because, again, as we've talked about, this is a different season. It's a different world. And the Predators during this stretch, Justin, have done when they were playing really good, their best hockey of the season. Mm-hmm. What were they doing in those games? They were closing out games.
Yeah.
Nobody did what Vancouver did last night. And it didn't happen last night. But it's the difference between game 57.
Yeah.
It's the difference between game 61. It's the difference between game 43.
Wow.
And having a lead as opposed to having a 2-1 lead in game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That is the difference. It's urgency. It's desperation. And look, I'm not saying teams don't give a crap in the regular season. They're like, but it's just, they're human beings. Yeah, they're professional athletes, but they're like, this is game 49. Like, okay, we lose we're down, and, we haven't played our best. Okay, like, if we don't come back, like, we'll move on to game 50, on Thursday. Like, there's no urgency. This one, everybody knows the importance of game one. 68% of the time, they gave the stat last night, you go on to win the series. Look, the Predators are in a position now where they've been, unfortunately, too many times in their franchise history.
Yeah.
And I know all streaks are meant to be broken, but right now, these are just the facts. It's not an opinion. It's just the facts. They have not come back to win a series when they didn't win game one. And I know the importance of stealing game one, especially on the road. I was with them the entire time, the run to the Stanley Cup final. And I know what it was like stealing game one in Chicago at the United Center. Look, they're never going to say a lot of this stuff publicly. I'm here to tell you. Everybody goes in that mentality, go on the road for those first two games. What's the objective?
Steal one.
Get a split.
Yeah.
Get one. And get back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't mean they're not trying to win game two, but they're trying to get a game. It's mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And then when you get game one, the pressure then gets ratcheted up to the home team to definitely get game two. And you could feel it in game two in Chicago when it wasn't going, because what they had to do was, it felt like a Mike Tyson fight. You knew the Blackhawks were going to come out in the first 10 minutes, the first half of the first period in game two, and they were going to get Tyson haymakers.
Yeah.
And if they were able to sustain the first two rounds of Tyson, which is, that was always the book, right? If you can get through those first 2 or 3 rounds and survive, which most did not.
Yeah.
You had a real good shot of beating them.
You did.
Right?
Yeah.
And the Predators did. They took all Chicago's blows and they sustained it. And then as the game wore on, you could feel the pressure of Chicago. There wasn't even pressure on the Predators.
Yeah.
They'd already taken game one.
Feel the oxygen leaving the room.
You could feel, the tension in the room in Chicago.
Yeah.
If Vancouver would have lost, that would have been exactly the tension would have been mounting for game two. That's why it was so significant for Vancouver to take game one, because that tension is real. It's Vancouver. It's the first time they've hosted a playoff game since 2015.
Yeah.
That's almost a decade.
Yeah.
First time the Vancouver Knuckleheads have hosted a playoff series.
But explain why the energy was so high.
And if they would have lost game one, I'm telling you, game two's tension, Predators would have been playing loose. They got their game.
Yep.
I saw it. And then in round two, going back to that magical run, they went to St. Louis. You take game one.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off of you.
Yeah.
You can play loose.
Yeah.
The home team's got all the pressure. They then went to the Western Conference Final in Anaheim. They took game one.
Yeah.
All the pressure was on Anaheim in game two. And then in Pittsburgh in game one. Controversial, albeit, but they lost game one.
Yeah.
And that was the first series where they had lost game one on the road. And unfortunately, they didn't win. And they have never come back to win a series when losing game one. Does it mean that they can't? No.
No.
Doesn't mean that.
No.
It just means they haven't. Again, it's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Yeah.
I think they're, 0 for 12?
I don't know.
I think 12 times they've gone out.
But that,
losing game one?
It's playoff series 16, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only makes sense. I do want to ask a couple of questions here that we don't have time. We're up against the break here, so we should probably pause and come back and continue on here before we get too lost and too deep into something else. When we come back, though, we want to hear from Jason Zucker, who has some comments to make about the third period in last night's game. And, of course, we welcome your phone calls at 615-844-5600. It's the McFarland Show on WNSR.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey Tennessee, Jeff Fisher here. Ready for edge-of-your-seat football action? The Nashville Cats are bringing it to you live.
I'm Eli Gold, and we promise you an electrifying experience with every play. Arena football is back. It's furious and full of fun. Join us for the greatest show on turf. Secure your tickets today at thenashvillecats.com and get ready to cheer for your Nashville Cats.
Hey, this is George Plaster. Looking forward to joining the WNSR family Monday, April the 29th with Kelly Holcomb, Watson Brown, and Billy Derrick. We'll continue to broadcast from the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue, but now we have the ability to take your phone calls. 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. April 29th, we'll get it started. Hope you'll join us on Nashville Sports Radio.
Text the Strike and Spare studio now at 615-844-5600. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
You can absolutely do that. Text or call. We're wide open this first hour. We are live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. The Braves at home tonight against the Marlins at Truist Park. 6:05. The coverage will begin 6:20. First pitch. Elder will be on the bump for the Braves. Ryan Weathers on the hill for the Marlins.
All right.
How about that?
All right.
By the way, did you see, I told you Jack Leiter's MLB debut got roughed up a bit?
Yes.
He got sent. Did you see he got sent down the next day?
No.
Yeah, he got sent down to AAA.
No.
Next day.
That's all right. Work on it.
He'll get
Work on it. Come on back.
Obviously, he'll get another chance, but yeah. So Braves and Marlins tonight here on WNSR. We are the McFarlands. By the way, you can watch the show every day from 2 to 4 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and you can interact with us on our YouTube page just by typing in the search WNSR Live, one word, and we'll see your comments and we can comment back. Okay. Predators trying to do something that they've never done before after losing Game 1. They haven't been able to lose Game 1 and come back and win a 7-game series. That's what's facing them now. They let one get away. I don't know how else you can say it. They had their opportunities. Vancouver was undisciplined at times. They got the power play opportunities. I felt like when they kept getting power play opportunity after power play opportunity, I know they capitalized on one. I felt like if they got another one, that game was over. And Vancouver did a great job of killing off those penalties.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think UC Soros would definitely want that first goal back. That
Yeah.
was a weak first goal.
Yeah.
I don't blame the other two on him. I think there was some breakdowns. I thought, quite honestly, Roman Yossi, usually blocks some shots. Alexander Carrier, not good. That was, I didn't think he played particularly well. Obviously, we know, I think it was goal 2 for Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Totally missed on that play. I don't know what was going on there. Typically in losses, that's when coaches make changes, but I don't know. I'll be curious to see if Brunette makes any changes. That would be a pretty quick trigger right there. So I don't think he's going to pull or make any changes for game 2, but I also don't know that. So I just know that this is when you usually see changes or a change.
Yeah.
When you miss, when you lose in a series.
I agree, and I don't think any changes are going to be made or are warranted. And what are you going to change to exactly? That's this is the you got to dance with the team that brought you, and this is the team that brought you. So you got to just hope they can find another gear here to match with Vancouver, and more than that, they can stop having lapses. And all we're talking about, Darren, is a 15-second lapse, essentially, with this team, which is, by the way, not the first time we have seen this with this particular team. And I know it happens across hockey and across sports. Teams have momentary lapses where they lose control and, something happens. Jason Zucker spoke about it overnight. He, of course, is a player for the Predators. He actually scored a goal. This is part of what he had to say here. Yes, Jason Zucker, part of what he had to say after last night's game.
I don't think we came out as strong as we normally do in the third. I think we pride ourselves on our third period game, and we didn't do that to start the period, and we let them get some momentum, and then it was hard to get it back. They're a great team. They've shown it all year, and we knew that they were going to have some push. It was never going to be an easy series from the beginning. So, again, we got to make some adjustments and come back and be ready to go for game 2.
All true statements.
Yes.
But you remember I asked Alex Doherty about rink rust.
Yeah.
How long they were sitting.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, as the game wore on, I kind of felt like it was affecting them a bit. How long they had been off.
Yeah. Nearly a full week.
Yeah.
A Monday to Sunday, I guess. They've been off here. Now, the only thing I want to point back to is this is not the first time this team has lost a game because of a 15-second lapse in the third period, excuse me. Of course, I point back to the December game against Dallas, where they allowed 2 goals in the last, 12 or 13 seconds and somehow lost that game in one of the most unbelievable ways I think I've ever seen any sporting event lost at any level at any time. That was bananas. But I don't know how we can look at last night's game and that 12-second lapse and not be at least reminded of that. To me, it brought it back almost instantly as soon as they put up the graphic that, the 2 goals in 12 seconds. I remember we've seen this before out of this bunch where they lost the game in very short order with 2 goals in a very short period of time, like the 12 seconds. So and listen, again, I'm not blaming UC Soros. I'm not saying that this is unique to the Predators. I understand this is hockey, and sometimes teams score in bunches in short periods of time. We've seen the Predators score, like this sometimes where they get a goal in back-to-back. I've been at the arena where the public address announcer can't even finish telling you about the last goal before the new goal is scored, and everybody's singing "I like it, I love it" all over again. But what, if anything, can be done to stop these momentary? Because goal scoring in the NHL is an emotional thing. It happens. People cheer. Everybody gets together. They play a theme song. The lights go crazy. You go back to your bench. You try to figure out what happened. Then you go back out there, and next thing you know, somebody scored again. So how do you? I don't know what else to say other than the fact that I felt a flashback to the Dallas game when I saw what happened last night in the third period of the Vancouver game.
Well, they also came back and beat Vegas in crazy fashion.
Yeah.
Late in the season when they were a totally different team. So it's ebbs and flows. You're going to get that in the course of a long season. You're going to lose games you shouldn't lose, and you're going to win games you shouldn't have won. That just happens over 82 games. It's any sport, whether it's NBA, NHL, or in baseball when you play 162 games. Those things are just going to happen. It's the law of averages. You play enough, you're going to have good fortune and you're going to have bad fortune. In this case, this is a playoff game. And look, I will say, we're going to sit here and praise UC Saros all the time. Like, he's also going to have to be better. He just is.
Wow.
I mean, we like to dole out a lot of high praise for him, and it's, rightfully so. But so far, his playoff record and statistics don't look great, right? And if we're always going to talk about how great he is, and he's elite, and he should be in the Vezina, and this and that, well, when it matters the most, they need Pekka did. You know how Pekka got a statue? You know how Pekka
coming up in big moments.
Pekka had moments in the playoffs, right? Now I understand he's had his moments when things didn't go his way. Okay, yeah, but how many times did Pekka stand on his head and single-handedly win them games,
or especially keep them in games a bit,
or keep them in games to win the game?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, and that is the difference. And look, I'm not down on UC Saros. I'm saying, look, if we're just going to always praise him, and like he should be in the, like, I feel like we do this every year, like always trying to make a case for why he's okay. Well, that's fine, and I'm not saying he's not deserving of that. But if we're going to speak him in that regard, then he is going to have to come up big in these playoff series. And right now, he is not. And it's not just on him, but we know goaltending play is a big deal in the playoffs. We know you ride a hot goaltender, things can completely change in a series. Teams have rode a hot goaltender all the way to a Stanley Cup final.
Yes, they have.
Okay? And so, yes, I agree with your opening statement. They're going to have to score more, period.
Yeah.
But you know what? For a guy that we praise all the time, he's also going to have to he needs to stand on his head a little bit too.
Yeah.
Okay? He needs to have his Pekka moment and his UC moment, whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
Because Pekka did. And UC needs to have his moment too, or moments. And so, they could rely on him to have a game where he steals a game, especially on the road, right? Because it's going to be tough. I'm just telling you, game 2 is going to be tough because now Vancouver is not playing with house money. They can loosen up the grip on the stick a little bit.
Yeah.
If they lose that game, I'm telling you, game 2, the pressure would have been solely on those knuckleheads.
Yeah.
Solely on them.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
No.
And it's a game, that was the game. If it was that Vancouver's best? No.
No.
Was it Nashville's best?
No.
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 Guess what? It wasn't either one of their best, and Nashville could have gotten the win.
They could have.
And that's where it's disheartening.
They could have.
Because it's on the road and it's harder.
Yeah.
And you had a chance to squeak out a game on the road in a hostile environment when you weren't even at your best.
Yeah.
And then you really could have applied the pressure in game 2. Now you know the urgency that the Predators are at.
Yeah.
Right? When that building is going to be even louder in game 2. And by the way, what was the deal with those fans, man? They're a little mean, a little rough. Like stuff I was seeing on social media.
Listen.
My goodness.
They're pretty wound up. That's all. Pretty wound up.
And pretty rough on the Predators.
Remember, it's
and the Preds fans.
You said it was Canada, right?
I know.
And you know what you've been telling me about Canada.
Well, look, if those things were true, and I know where it was coming from, I believe that they absolutely were true. The things they were saying in the stands last night at Rogers Arena, my goodness.
Yeah. Well,
I think you hit it right. They're a little wound up.
Yeah. No, they're a little wound up.
Or a lot.
Yeah, well, not only that, they're a little wound up, and they have never done this, and they've been doing this for a long time. So the Vancouver Canucks have been playing NHL hockey since 1970. How many Stanley Cups up there in Vancouver? How many? We can count them, right?
Count them, yeah. One, no fingers.
0.
Yeah.
So they've been playing professional hockey up there in Vancouver since year of our Lord 1970.
Over 50 years.
Over 50 years. And don't have even a Stanley Cup, not even an old one, to go visit, to remember the time. They don't have. So sometimes when you get to that level And again, I keep talking about that trip to Kansas City, and they had one, but nobody remembered it, or very few remembered it, in that trip to Kansas City back at the Super Bowl IV or whatever it was. It had been 50 years for them, and things were tight in Kansas City. Tight. I mean, you could cut the tension with a knife, okay? They were ready to get this over. They thought they had their team. They thought they had their quarterback, and they were ready. What we saw in Vancouver and what we're seeing in Vancouver is another franchise who has watched everybody else have a parade and everybody else have a party since 1970 except for them. They're ready. And they don't care about some Rudy-Poo team from Nashville who a lot of them probably don't, respect anyway. Like, where? Nashville? What?
They definitely didn't in 2011. I remember that theme very, very well. They were like, Nashville?
Nashville.
What?
Let me tell you. Listen.
They play hockey? Those people don't know anything about hockey in Nashville.
You think a die-hard Vancouver Canucks fan who's been watching Vancouver Canucks hockey for 40, 50 years, how does it taste when Tampa Bay lifts up the Stanley Cup down there?
Multiple times.
How's that taste? How's that go? No, it doesn't go. It doesn't feel good at all. You've been waiting your turn for a long time, and so now that's what we are feeling here. I'm telling you. So they're going to do what they do up there. And, and it's the Preds' job to go ahead and try to steal one so they can shift it down here to where, they can come down here with a little home ice advantage. And but again, that energy in that building last night was, and I wasn't there just through television. You can feel
you can
it.
Feel it.
You can feel it.
It was real.
Those folks are ready, and they are standing on guard for thee up there. Here's the other thing, Darren. This is 4 losses now for the Preds to the Canucks, to Vancouver. At some point, you got to beat these guys.
Yeah, I don't get. Look, I don't like the whole regular season record.
I understand.
People keep pointing in all these series, and it's like,
I get it.
It's irrelevant.
I know. I understand. You got to beat these at some point.
And I wasn't directing that.
No.
I've heard a lot of people.
It's
like
okay.
Every series, the preview is like, this is the regular season. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's a new season.
I got you. At some point, you got to beat those guys. You got to find. It does become, I think, is my opinion, and I know these are professionals. I get it. At some point, it shifts into, can we be, even if it's on a subconscious level, can we beat these guys? I mean, what is going on? We can't go out here. So if they lose this next game, so now we're talking about 5 straight losses now to Vancouver, if it goes that way. There is some part of you that's asking the question, maybe we just can't beat these guys. Maybe these guys are a bad matchup for us. I'm not saying they would never stand in front of a microphone and say that, but you can't tell me that thought doesn't cross the whispers of your mind somewhere that says to yourself, I don't know if we can beat them. Maybe they're just not. I'm just putting it out there. I understand that that's not the thing to say. I understand that they're professional athletes. I understand what people say. It doesn't matter. I get it. But, if they got to find a way to win the game, they got to, and they really got to find a way to break over 2 goals. We can start with that. Because even if they win the next game, let's say UC Soros goes out there and pitches a shutout and they win the next game 2-0. To me, that's, it's a great victory. I'm sure they'll take it, but that's not gonna cut it. They've got to put more goals on the board if they're gonna beat Vancouver in any sustainable way.
Our buddy Johnny's listening in beautiful Vancouver. He said, take it from me, Justin, growing up in British Columbia. He tweets at us. Growing up in British Columbia the last 42 years of my life, there's a lot of pent-up frustration with this fan base not having a championship in 54 years. I hope I don't have to wait that long with the Preds.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We're just in year 25.
Yeah, they're more than double.
So double it.
Yeah.
Double it, and then see how that squeezes. I mean, it's something after a while. It really is.
So game 2 tomorrow night in Vancouver. All right, we'll take another break. 615-844-5600 is how you get in touch with us. That's our phone line and our text line. More of the McFarland Show right here on WNSR.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line. Does it have to be family? It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-240-4917 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-240-4917. That's 800-240-4917. Again, 800-240-4917.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
It's a Bill King Show.
Interestingly enough, Jared Curtis, Adam, I'm sure you saw this, over the past week has committed to Georgia. And depending on the recruiting service, he's either the top-ranked quarterback in his class, and in one of the services, they've got him ranked the top overall player regardless of position.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Five-state forecast.
Your exclusive national sports radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today we'll have an abundance of sunshine. The high temperature is going to be 68. It'll be mainly clear tonight, low 44. Tuesday, sunny, high 74. Wednesday, sunny, high 76. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
We're to head east. Begins second hour. Our man Vince Ferrara. 99.1 The Sports Animal. We'll talk about the Vols coming up at 3 o'clock. Crazy. No, I'm going to bring this up in just a bit.
Okay.
By the way.
Yeah.
How about the record of the NHL and NBA playoffs for the home
team?
teams?
Yeah, saw that.
For the NHL, the home teams went undefeated Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
First time since 1970. Speaking of 1970.
Wow.
First time.
Didn't realize it'd been that long.
Since 1970.
Wow.
All the home teams won in the first weekend of the playoffs. NBA, same thing happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the number is, or I guess the year that 10-0 the home teams were, NBA and NHL? I think it was 10-0.
Trying to think how many series, but yeah, I guess so, yeah.
10-0. And I'd like to know, I didn't see where somebody put out there. I know it's got to be out there somewhere. Like, how long has it been since that's happened?
Probably a long time. We've been told to believe, anyway, that, the home court and home ice advantage doesn't matter as much as it used to. In these, in this day and age, that things have become a little bit more neutral now, and the home ice or home court doesn't matter as much.
Well, which one are you talking about?
for both sports. I thought for both sports, for the NBA and the NHL.
I don't know about the NBA. NBA home court is pretty. I need to go back and look at the numbers. It's way better. NHL for sure has. I want to say it's probably like 50-50.
Wow.
It's really low.
Yeah.
Like it does not really favor the home team as much as you think it would at all. NBA, last time I looked that up, the NBA home court still had a pretty good advantage for the home team.
It used to mean everything, and it feels like it means less than it used to. But a large part of that is because of the lack of rivalries and stuff. The NBA for me has got a feel problem just in general, and that's not the game's fault. It's really more my fault because I'm comparing it to something that no longer exists in the NBA. So the era has changed, and I'm still adjusting my antenna to adjust to the current era of what I'm watching. But that's a separate topic. To the home advantage front, I don't know how not playing at home couldn't be an advantage. And I'm glad to see that it's starting to show up here a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see if it carries on because it has been a long time. In the NHL, I can kind of understand it a little bit here. Depending on what the road trips are like, too. You have to look at some of these trips. The Preds, went a long way to end up playing Vancouver. I'm not sure about some of these other trips, but some of them are not exactly across the street here. Some of these teams had to log some time in the air.
Well, the Predators,
some of these
the
locations.
furthest.
Yeah. So, I think that plays a factor in it as well here. So, but I don't know how long it's been in the NBA. It's an interesting question. But yeah, Boston and Toronto, the Islanders and the Hurricanes, the Golden State and Dallas, and the Kings in Edmonton.
Yeah, that's not. It's not crazy.
It's again, it's not down the street. You can't take a bus to these places. You got to take a flight here. So, it'll be interesting to see if it carries over. That's for sure. But like you said, they seem to be mini one-game seasons here, where the next night, all road teams may win coming up here tonight.
Oh, it's a real thing. I'm telling you that, and they're trained, and that's why I wasn't surprised by Burnett's answers or his press conference at all, because that's the mentality you have to have. It's ingrained in their heads, and when Barry Trotz, Mike and Lacassis on our YouTube page says Trotz has to be assessing how all the positions are playing under the playoff stress. Right now, I tweeted out last night after 2 periods, Barry Trotz acquisitions 2, Vancouver 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the guys that Barry Trotz has brought in are making a difference. And these are, I talked about, I've talked about it on the show.
You have.
Look, I think it has served him incredibly well being on a bench for almost 25 years because he's had to either coach these guys or coach against these guys down on a bench, ice level, watching them for an entire game or an entire series. He knows them way better than any general manager sitting up in a box.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is, I think, a huge advantage for Barry Trotz. And right now it has served him well. It has served the Predators well because I would say the players that he has brought in have been more impactful than I think any of us thought, right? Like Nyquist had a career year in points and assists, I think, were the 2 categories. Career year. Yeah. He's been playing for a good while.
Yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly, hugely impactful.
Oh.
Jason Zucker last night, impactful.
Yeah.
Bavillier, I think, he's been fine.
Yeah.
In fact, had a great chance last night at a goal. In fact, that might be one. I don't think it'll happen, but they've been kind of toggling back and forth towards the end of the season, like Cody Glass or Bavillier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be a change that could be on the table. Not saying it's going to happen, but Barry Trotz's acquisitions to this team have greatly impacted the success of this team.
Yes.
And how they play.
It's been good.
Because he knows the mentality they have to have. Now, will it be good enough?
Yeah. There's my thing. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about to find out.
This is all nice, but it's got to be good enough.
Agree.
And they got to bust more than 2 grapes, on the scoreboard here, or else this is gonna end real fast. it'll be interesting to see if the scoring goes up once they get back here. If they're the same team, if they're going to play with the same energy, Vancouver I'm talking about, the same team and the same energy once they get to Bridgestone Arena and the Fang Fingers come out and all that starts to happen. It is a very bonkers atmosphere there at Bridgestone Arena when it wants to be. And, if the Predators can't win coming up here tomorrow night, then now we're talking about a do or die situation in Game 3. Yeah. And a game I think they can win if they can show some signs of life. That is coming up here, tomorrow night. Here they got to score.
It's gonna be hard, Joe.
They got to score.
Game 2 is gonna be, and what I said with JB and Patton this morning is what they have to, and they did a great job last night.
Yeah.
Scoring the first goal, taking the crowd out of it.
Sure.
Kind of, increasing the tension, right, in the air with the players and the crowd. They need to do that again. What they have to absolutely avoid, and again, I said this morning on their show, I've been there. I was in Winnipeg, when they got blitzkrieged. I was in Dallas when they got, when it just happens fast. I was in Pittsburgh when it happens fast very early on. And when it happens fast early on in the road, in a crazy environment, it's virtually impossible to come back. It's almost game, set, match, right? It's almost game over.
Yeah.
What they have to avoid is like Vancouver scoring 2 goals in the first 7 minutes of the game, right? It would be, again, virtually impossible to come back from that. I know because I've been in those situations, in those arenas, in those atmospheres, and when it happens, it's not just the Predators, it's almost anybody. But in particular, in this case, I'm talking about the Predators, it's just hard to come back. They have to avoid quick strikes by Vancouver in Game 2 because they're going to be jacked. They smell blood in the water. They smell blood,
They
smell blood in the water.
Because they know they can get them.
Right, and they got the Game 1 out of the way, and they got the win. So they're going to come out on hair on fire.
Yeah.
So the Predators, again, that'll go back to the Tyson reference. They'll have to sustain the early blows.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our final break, come back, wrap up hour number 1 next.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Okay, picture this. It's Friday afternoon when a thought hits you. I can spend another weekend doing the same old whatever, or I can hop into my all-new Hyundai Santa Fe and hit the road. With available H-Track all-wheel drive and 3-row seating, my entire family can head deep into the wild. Conquer the weekend in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown starts right now. And the East already knows, don't sleep on the Atlanta Braves.
Swung on, belted, deep right field, gone! Home run, Michael Harris.
Tonight, it's division baseball from the heart of Atlanta as Brian Snitker and the Braves face off against the Miami Marlins at Truist Park.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6:05 p.m. live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Johnny on our YouTube page says, I have to imagine the Titans' first-round pick on Thursday night will be the Tau waiver for Game 3 on Friday. That'd be cool. I don't know. Obviously, they'd have to get the draft pick in on Friday.
It's possible.
They usually do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible. They can get him in
That'd be cool.
Yeah. By the way, we're expected to hear from the Titans tomorrow.
Yes.
The pre-draft.
I think it's at 1. Is that right?
Think so. I need to look at the email again. But, yeah, we'll hear from the powers that be about, whatever smoke screen that they're throwing up. I mean.
Look, we just go, we'll give it its just due.
Listen.
We're getting nothing out of it.
It's just,
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put this on the record just
Sure.
because me and you have been around the block a time or two. I don't have any clue why they do this. Why any team. I'm not blaming the Titans. I'm not blaming the Predators. I'm just talking about local teams. I'm talking about any team in any sport. Like, I know they all do it. They all do pre-draft. Right? You will get nothing. You will learn nothing.
Since everybody does it, is an NFL requirement. This is one of those things the NFL
dumb.
Does the
Then
NFL
it's
require this?
Dumb.
Because listen, if all 32 teams do anything, chances are the NFL says that you have to.
I'm not blaming them for not giving anything because I get it.
Yeah.
I blame whoever is telling them to do these things.
It
It's
just
dumb.
fans the flames.
It's a waste of time.
I guess so.
You're going to get nothing. And you're going to like it. And I don't like it.
You're going to get nothing.
You're going to get nothing.
And it's about what you knew right now.
There's nothing.
The offensive tackle, right? Yeah.
And you're going to like it, except for me. I'm not going to like it.
All right.
But we will address it because they did it. All right, that's going to do it for hour number 1. We'll come back. Damon's going to perk up. We're going to talk about that Tennessee team with our man Vince Ferrara. We'll do that next here on The McFarland Show, WNSR.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. Opening statements have wrapped up in the New York hush money trial of Donald Trump.
Todd Blanche, his attorney, said to the jury, he's not just the former president. He's not just the man that you've seen on TV with The Apprentice. And what Todd said was he's a man, he is a husband, and he is a father. And it was a really striking line that I think was going to be tried to use to counter some of these really salacious, these really raunchy details.
ABC's Olivia Rubin in New York. The Supreme Court is expected to hear arguments later this week whether Mr. Trump should get immunity from prosecution for anything that he did while president. Today, the justices weighed whether it's legal to arrest or to fine homeless people who sleep outside when there is available shelter space where they are. There's no word yet if the U.S. is going to sanction a certain IDF unit accused of committing human rights abuses in the West Bank. The Dow's up 321 points heading for the close. This is ABC News.
The Omaha Steaks Spring Sale is the perfect time to get fired up for spring grilling. Head over to omahasteaks.com and save on all your favorites or discover something new. Plus, when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. With 50% site-wide, you're going to want to hurry before the sale ends. Go to omahasteaks.com. Don't forget to use promo code QUALITY to get an extra $30 off at checkout. Minimum order may be required.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour of the McFarland Show rolling along on this Monday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day. We are live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. You can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Zach Wilson and a 7th-round pick have been traded to the Denver Broncos. The Jets will receive a 6th-round pick and will pay half of Wilson's $5.5 million contract or salary for 2024. I had a feeling Zach Wilson, when he didn't show up to voluntary stuff, that maybe he was ready for a change of scenery. And quite honestly, I think New York is ready for a change of scenery, too. And so Zach Wilson, as I told you all last season, is just not a starter in the league. He's just not good enough. And maybe that'll change. Maybe it won't. I suspect it won't. But he's off to Denver to play for the Broncos.
Number 2 overall, wasn't he?
Yes, that's correct. Jeez. Now we're off to Knoxville. Let's bring in our man, Vince Ferrara, 99.1 The Sports Animal. He hosts a morning show there with John Wilkerson. This is truly when Damon gets the most excited for our show the entire week. It's really when he perks up. Most of the time he nods off, Vince, but not on Mondays at 3 o'clock because you're talking about his beloved Vols.
I know. We do a show while we're waiting for him to for you to go to me. We do our own little mini show where we're just firing away questions and stuff. So, but it's all good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, when it gets to like 3 o'clock, it's like he's just chugged a 96-ounce Monster Energy drink. He gets really pumped. So, and we're excited too. Don't get me wrong. It's not just Damon.
Absolutely.
But his goes to like a different, it's like playoff level, right? Like it really elevates.
Yeah, the difference is, guys, you guys want like the reality of what's going on, whether it's really good, really bad, really crazy, or anything in between. Damon just wants good news.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Don't bring him any bad news.
Yeah, he does not want a coal in his stocking. No.
He doesn't want to hear about injuries.
No, even if the coal is orange, he doesn't want it in his stocking.
Or, we're waiting on him to click. He doesn't want to hear about any of that.
Like, he wants toilet paper, fluff, fluff, fluff.
He wants to know, boy, that 4-star looks more like a 5-star. And he's turning heads every single time he walks in the building, okay? That's what he wants to hear.
I'm just excited. Tennessee went to Alabama, got a play over the weekend, and all that stuff. I'm excited.
Well, see, you're jumping the gun. Would you let us
I'm sorry.
Get to our guests?
See? Okay.
Let me air this real quick, because I got to be honest. Like, I am dumbfounded, Vince. And maybe you guys, I don't know if you've talked about it or not. I know you carry the games, and so it's a different animal for you guys. But how could you have a top 5 matchup in the country in college baseball and not air it anywhere? Like, I know maybe it was on ESPN Ocho, but, it wasn't on ESPN. It wasn't on the Deuce. It wasn't on the U.
Professional
it wasn't
fighting.
on the news. It wasn't on SEC Network. It wasn't. I mean, how could you not put Tennessee and Kentucky, 2 top 5 baseball programs, in late April, not on television?
Oh, Darren, it's 2024. Like, the SEC Network Plus is the same as any of those other networks, right?
Really? Really? No, not in my world.
No, especially because I've been a part of it at times, especially because those are staffed by the universities. So you're not going to get like the top announcers. If your team is on the road, you're not going to be happy about the broadcasters and all that kind of fun stuff, because it is staffed by the universities, all for expense and budget purposes. But the biggest reason for that is because they determine these matchups before the year, and they haven't decided to flex baseball and softball like they do for football and basketball and adjust based on the matchups what's best for TV. That's why you get matchups like this get left out, and I don't know what was on the main networks this weekend. Sometimes it's in the conference, sometimes it's not, but and that's why you have others that aren't great that are just there because it's predetermined. So the sports have grown enough, and they are good enough for a television product to where you need to adjust to that. And that's something they just haven't done yet. So that's really the simple answer.
That's pretty silly that they can't flex. I mean, come on. Like,
they haven't
really?
decided to. It's not that they can't. They just have not really decided to this point. So I don't know if that's something that they'd have to everybody agree with around the league, if they could fix midstream, or if they'd have to determine it before the year that they will do flex scheduling. I don't know all that's involved in that. They can. It's just a matter of when and what the process.
Now, SEC Network was airing the Vanderbilt-Florida series here in town, and let me just say this, because I watched it Thursday and Friday night. That Jack Caglione guy is a monster for Florida. He ended up not breaking the record. He did not hit a home run on Saturday, so he ties the record for 9 consecutive games. But that dude is a beast.
Yep.
Holy cow. Have you seen him in person, Vince? I haven't, but he looks massive on television.
Yeah, he's muscular and obviously has all the tools. Could very well be the number 1 overall pick. He's jacked a home run over 500 feet. It's just, it's insane how good that guy is. So, I've seen him in person. Tennessee goes to Florida. I guess it's next weekend. Missouri this weekend, then at Florida, at Vandy, home to South Carolina, the remaining series for Tennessee. So they'll see him again.
Hey, that's a great series win, by the way, to go to Lexington and capture that series.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky was probably the hottest team in the country going into the series.
They even hopped Tennessee in one of the polls, at least one of the polls. And so from that standpoint, yeah, it top 3, top 5 matchup. I think one of the polls that Tennessee was 2 and Kentucky was 3. So however you shake it out, it's a top 5 matchup. And to do that on the road when Kentucky won game 1 and Tennessee got off the deck in game 2 right out of the gate, Christian Moore home run, Blake Burke home run, 5-run first, and that ended up being the difference in the game. Tennessee on the road in what's normally a pitcher's park. Now, granted, the wind was blowing out more so than what it normally does, but Tennessee had 10 home runs there.
Yeah.
They hit 14 on the road at Auburn. So this like talk that, Tennessee just has inflated numbers because of Lindsey Nelson and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're hitting home runs everywhere. 1, 2, the wind doesn't always blow out at Lindsey Nelson. Sometimes it's right to left, sometimes it's straight in, sometimes it's out to left. It varies. Oh, by the way, Tennessee also pitches at home. So they're not giving up 111 home runs like they've hit this year, which is number 1 in the nation.
Yeah. It definitely feels like a lot like last year. I feel like the top-heavy teams have a real shot in Omaha, right? Like Tennessee's equipped. Texas A&M is equipped. Arkansas is equipped. Kentucky's equipped. I mean, I don't want to leave Vanderbilt out. I mean, I'm just saying the SEC again is loaded, and I think all these teams have the ability to do exactly what the all-SEC national championship game like last year. It's got a chance again in Omaha this year, don't you think?
For sure. D1 updated their top 25. The top 4 are SEC teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could have half the College World Series, if not more, from the SEC. Now, maybe they'll lay out the bracket to where, they cancel each other out, they meet, and to where you can't have too many of one conference. But, there's no doubt about it. And because some teams in the league are worse than was anticipated, like LSU and Auburn and some of that, I think you're seeing some more of those teams like really be elite in record. I mean, Tennessee took 2 of 3 at Kentucky, yet they're still 3 games back with 4 weekends to go. That's not easy to make up that kind of ground. But it could be like basketball where Tennessee is not first in the East for a good part of the year, but you kind of look at them and you're like, that's the best team in the league. And I think you can certainly – the pitching isn't as elite, but the offense is not only so much better than they're hitting for more average in addition to the home runs. And I think it's more – they're more well-rounded and deeper than they've been at other – a couple of years ago when they, were setting records for home runs and all that. I think this team, you could argue, is even better than last year's College World Series team, but they still need to get more consistent on the mound. They've just found a way, and they've out-hit teams at times also.
Vince, I wanted to hear about what's happening new in the UT transfer portal that is out there. I know that's Damon's favorite part of the show when you come on. He wants to know, what are the new gifts under the Christmas tree here in the month of April?
Okay, so which sport? Because we're tracking them for football, men's basketball, women's basketball.
Let's go football. Let's go football.
Okay, had the defensive lineman Jason Jenkins, who's been in the program now in this 3rd year. He's announced that he's hit the portal today. Just saw that as a headline, been running around in appointments and stuff, but not shocked by that. He's only the 2nd player in the spring portal period that's open, that's hit the portal. The other was Elijah Herring, I think we talked about last Monday, who was Tennessee's leading tackler, but I don't think was slated to start this year. And with Keenan Peely back, with Arion Carter when he gets back and his upside, with Jeremiah Thielander having as good of a spring practice as anyone on the team, I think he saw the writing on the wall that he wasn't going to start, and the NIL is out there as well. So I think you'll see him probably at an ACC school, but I don't know where Jenkins might go. But Tennessee is absolutely loaded on the defensive line. So you see a guy that was complimented and praised in spring practice by Rodney Garner. Sure, big body, but they got a lot of dudes and they got experience. And I don't think that will be a big impact for them because they just got so much depth, so much experience, so much quality on that D-line. That's the strength of the team. So if you're going to get somebody in the portal, I'm actually surprised that they haven't had more guys leave because even though they play a lot of guys, they could play 12 if he wanted to. You know, some guys want to start. They got people around them telling them they want to start. So, and it's been pretty quiet in terms of Tennessee interest in guys. Really, the position of note was running back. Mm-hmm. And they had a visit set with Oregon State running back Damian Martinez, who was an All-American and one of the top-ranked players in the portal. I thought a guy that Tennessee absolutely should go after. And it seemed like they were because he scheduled 5 visits, and one of them was to Tennessee. Then a day or two later said he wasn't going to make that visit. So there's different theories that are out there. I don't know which one is right, that the NIL wanted too much money or maybe wanted promise of playing time. I don't know what is true, if any of that is true, but there's always those different theories when it comes to the portal because there's a lot of situations where people, parents, hangers-on, agents are asking for that kind of stuff, and they're making NIL decisions. So that's not unfathomable that somebody would make a decision like that. Also, another one that surprises me that Tennessee has now pursued is Dallin Hayden, who left Ohio State when Quinshon Judkins, Ole Miss's top back, went to Ohio State, joining Travion Henderson and making an unbelievable duo up there. So Hayden is the son of former Vol running back Aaron Hayden. They really didn't pursue him hard out of high school, and it doesn't sound like, last I heard, Tennessee wasn't one of the schools that had been pursuing him. I don't know why, if it's style or what it is, but I'm a little surprised at that. So I think Tennessee will keep looking in the portal for running back. Offensive line, especially on the interior, is one that they could always use the right guy to add to the mix there because I think that left guard position is still a little iffy. And then, honestly, kicker is another position that I think they'll keep their eye on in the portal.
Okay. You talked a lot about running back there and them looking for their next running back. Their former running back, coming fresh off the 4.3 performance at the Combine, Jalen Wright. I'm looking at NFL.com under their prospect page, and they take information from a lot of different places. They're projecting him to go in round 3. Where do you think would be a good fit for him? By the way, they don't think any running backs are going to go in the first round. I've heard that from a few people. But where do you think he ends up, Vince?
Yeah, I don't think he or anyone else will go in the first round. I've been digging around, looking at current rosters, talking to former Vols that play running back, and it just that guys that have been scouts, and you're really digging on this position. And I think there's a number of really good fits for Jalen Wright. Style of offense, style of running game is another thing that I think everybody can use his speed. I think there's a couple of teams that are most intriguing. But one of them is someone that always seems to find really good players and drafts incredibly well, great scouting department as well, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. I talked to Daniel Jeremiah and Mel Kiper Jr. about the Vols in the draft, and both of them pretty much had the same response, raving about Jalen Wright, his explosiveness, his speed. Mel Kiper Jr. came out with his best values / favorite players in the draft. Jalen Wright is on that list. He may not go to the third round, but that doesn't mean he's a third-round quality player. I think he's better than that. But Daniel Jeremiah, I asked him what team fits he would give to any of those guys, and he said, hey, Kansas City, they love speed, find value, those kind of things. So I'm going to trust that that's a really good fit for all those reasons I mentioned. Another one is the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, they have Christian McCaffrey there.
Yeah.
Eli Mitchell's been really good. Elijah Mitchell is their number 2. And there's not much after that. And McCaffrey's gotten hurt, Mitchell's gotten hurt, and you need more than 2 backs. And so, who knows if that's a guy that they're locked into. Actually, I do know because they've called around asking about Jalen Wright. So I know there's an interest. And Bobby Turner, the running backs coach, he's a vet. He's one of the best, if not the best, running back coaches in the league. So the 49ers will be a great organization for Jalen Wright to go to. Another one is Arizona. Not that they're like the level of organization that San Francisco is, but they have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, including 3 in the 3rd round. Another one that I think you kind of look at that might be able to, and they need an upgrade. They don't really have behind James Conner. They're kind of thin. There's others like Dallas and Indianapolis and Tampa Bay. He's been on visits to Tampa Bay and Denver. There's a bunch more, but I think those are just a handful to start with for Jalen Wright.
Cornerback Gabe Jeudy-Lally visited the Titans today. What do you think about? What do you think about him?
I think that's for undrafted free agents.
Okay.
And look, those top 30 visits, I've learned a lot about those top 30 visits. Sometimes it is the potential undrafted free agent guys that they want to do the legwork on, so they get the opportunity to sign those guys once the draft is over and build those relationships so that maybe they pick them. Because some teams, like the Rams did this, some teams, if they don't have a lot of money, they have to rely on those undrafted free agents to fill spots. So I don't think he's in a drafted range. I think it's that. But teams use it for all various different ways. And so, yeah, that's cool. Good little nugget. I did not know that. And I appreciate that. It's good to know.
That was our man Justin Mello putting that out there today.
Always on top.
He is on top of who's been visiting the Titans. Vinny, always appreciate it. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week whenever the draft is complete.
Anytime, guys. Always enjoy. Appreciate you.
Vince Ferraro, 99.1 The Sports Animal there in Knoxville, does a great job covering the Vols, host a morning show with John Wilkerson there on The Sports Animal. We're wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600 is how you get in touch with us.
Okay.
All
right.
Not sure what's happening.
I don't know either.
Blanco Brown.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
DJ.
All
Damon.
right.
The Cats game.
Guess you can't take the DJ out of Damon.
All right.
Come back. More of the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
This next part's my favorite part. This time to shine. Gonna do the 2-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with
The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts. Until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchisor SPV, LLC.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by its doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. I was sent Relief Factor for me to try. I've been taking it every single day, and I do feel the difference. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. It's starleasing.com to learn more.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
We were here when Eddie George left. We were here when Chris Johnson left. They had to move on too. And Derrick Henry is doing the same. These guys cannot stay forever. That's just the deal.
It's just what it is.
It's just what
Derrick
it is.
Henry made it to 30, and most people are ready to put 30-year-old running backs out to pasture.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Text the Strike and Spare studio now at 615-844-5600. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Matt Ryan officially retires. Zach Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. NFL draft this Thursday night.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
Yeah.
And intern Alex hometown.
Hometown of Detroit, Ford Field.
Dr. Detroit.
Yeah, I saw them setting up the stage out there earlier this morning. They had some drone shots. And, I still think everybody is trying to outdo Nashville on some level. I really believe that. I know we aren't the first people to set up a stage outside. I'm aware. I know they did that in other cities before they came here. I got you. Yes, I understand. However, I've heard it from people who would know that people watch the draft here and immediately change whatever plan they had to do the draft in their city. It had that big of an impact on what people saw. And, I still think on some level everybody wishes for a scene similar to that one. But, and every city can't do that. I don't know what they've got planned for Detroit. I'm sure it's going to be, Detroit style, whatever that means, whether it's Motown music or, people driving up in Fords and Chevys or whatever they got going on. It'll be uniquely Detroit, as it should be, because that's where it is. So, and for the young men who get their names called, I promise you, they don't care where it is. It could be anywhere, you want it to be. They would walk out there on that stage. If they set up a stage in Texarkana, Texas, they'd be right out there.
Are they doing it at Ford Field? Where are they doing it?
It's outside. No, it's not at Ford Field.
They're doing it outside.
They're doing it
April
outside
in Detroit.
Yes, they're setting up a stage outside. I saw it with the crane and all the stuff. Yeah.
Wow, that's a little risky.
Well, again,
just saying,
you can't get the atmosphere by putting it in the dome. You just can't. It's not the same. You want the outside elements. You want to be able to feel the city. You can't do that in the dome. You just can't. So
Dallas did it. They did it in Jerry's World.
Yeah, well, they also have $1 billion stadium to do it in. I think they had a few more bells and whistles there. And did they do it inside?
I thought they did.
I thought it was outside the stadium. I thought the stadium was like in the backdrop. I didn't realize it was inside.
Maybe.
Maybe it was a little bit of both.
Inside.
But, you have some of that too. Maybe, you want to use a little inside and outside action. Maybe you have them start inside and they walk outside. I mean, I don't know. There's a variety of ways to do it. But, not everybody's has the streetscape that Nashville has to be able to produce that kind of thing.
Nobody can do it.
Chicago and Philadelphia, they did theirs in parks. Well, because they've got really big park space up there where they do those kind of things for years. The only two cities I can think of that's got this kind of setup is New Orleans and Nashville. You could do something like this, Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
You could,
but
you would have to shut down a lot, but you've got an avenue there where, is a recognizable place. Maybe the Vegas Strip,
Vegas and New Orleans.
Vegas and New
were
Orleans.
the two examples I was going to
You could do it there, but everywhere else
Yeah.
doesn't have this kind of a setup to where you can make that happen. So it's very unique in that aspect. And, if not, you got to do a park thing like they're doing elsewhere. But, like I don't know what the recognizable avenue is in Detroit. I have no idea. So,
when I was up there covering the Super Bowl, I know that they did the media night at the Fox Theater.
Yeah.
That was a cool thing.
Very famous theater there.
Very famous.
Worldwide famous theater is the Fox. Historic.
But, other than that, that was, what was that, the Steelers Super Bowl? Yeah. Steelers.
Yeah.
What, Steelers Seahawks?
Steelers, I thought it was Steelers Cardinals. Was it Steelers Seahawks?
It was Steelers Seahawks.
Seahawks, okay.
Yeah. I know they did that at the Fox Theater, but other than that, I don't know. But that was some time ago, so things have changed.
Well, things have changed. People have seen things and had a chance to reimagine and go, oh, we can do that? Can we do that?
Yeah, look, I understand, but nobody's going to be able to recreate what Nashville did.
It would be very difficult. Plus, you didn't have a Stanley Cup final at the same time, too.
The NHL All-Star Weekend also kind of changed for everybody else. They wanted it to be like Nashville.
Yeah, that visual is hard to top.
Look, we know we can throw a party. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah. We do that now. But, whatever Detroit does would be good for Detroit. And I don't know where it's going to be next year. I haven't looked at it. Did Green Bay get theirs already? I thought Green Bay was on the list for getting one of these, which I don't know what in the world that would look like. But, that could be next. I think it's overall been good, though, to take it out of Radio City.
So as we get a little bit closer to Thursday, what will the Titans do? I still feel like this is what I know. What I feel that I know. I think the first 3 picks for sure are going to be quarterbacks. I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
I feel pretty good that it's going to be Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. That's what it feels like.
A quick word on that before. I'm sorry. My conversation with Justin Mello last week has haunted me.
Okay.
Because, as you know, I've been following this sport a really long time, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I understand the urgency to get the quarterback. I understand that. But with the failure rate of the quarterback being as high as it is, I don't understand how you can, in good conscience at this particular moment, take a quarterback just because you don't have one unless you're convinced that he's going to be the guy. And there's no way in the world you're convinced that this is going to be the guy because of the failure rate that you've seen. The New York Jets just traded the number 2 overall pick in the draft a few years ago for a 7th round pick, a 6th round pick.
They traded him and a 7th round pick for a 6th round.
For a 6th round pick.
Yeah. Which is, for some reason, that is the new standard.
This is a going rate.
First round picks in the last 3 or 4 years, you give up a 6th round pick for them.
This is a going rate these days. It was Justin Fields, also a 6th round.
Fields and Jones.
Jeez.
Mac Jones, Justin Fields. Now Zach Wilson. They're 3 and 4 years into the league?
Yeah.
And they're being traded for 6th round picks.
And you talk about how valuable these picks are and all of this other thing. And you've got Marvin Harrison Jr., who, according to all Justin Mello, who we have learned to trust here in the last 18 months or so, says that he is the best player in this draft, point blank, period. It's not even up for debate. He is far and away the best player in this draft, which means that you would think this is a guy that's going to go in, be productive for you, and be a great player for you and your organization, and you're going to pass on him to take a quarterback that you're not sure about?
Yes.
Because I know you got to have the quarterback. I got it. But I'm sorry. I'm just it is very hard for me to deal with that because of, again, the high failure rate of quarterbacks. So now you've passed on the quarterback. You still don't he bombs out. Now you still don't have your Hall of Fame quarterback or your wide receiver. You've let go an all-pro player at another position to take a chance on a quarterback that the stats will show you, it's probably not going to make it.
Yeah, but you got to chase the position that you know if you hit, you're then set up for a good while.
So you're buying lottery tickets here. Yeah. You're buying lottery tickets.
You just keep throwing darts.
You don't know which one is going to be the guy.
What did the Houston Texans? We've been laughing at the Texans for the last 3 years. Laughing at them. What a joke. They draft C.J. Stroud. Everything changes. Everything. And I get it. They drafted other good players. But if you don't have C.J. Stroud, you don't have the Texans in the light that we're talking. And by the way, they're doing all this because they have C.J. Stroud. That's why they're doing the moves that they've made. Right? That's why they're training for Stephon Diggs. Because they have C.J. Stroud. When you have the guy, it changes everything. And everybody wants the guy. And yes, it's hard. But you if you don't try, you know, you're never going to land that. But you can't sit around and wait for the Tom Brady's of the world, the Brock Purdy's of the world, because those are so few and far between, and they're so incredibly hard to hit on. Those are hard. And are there examples? Yes. Russell Wilson was what? 4th round.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott was 4th round. We have the examples, but think about all the quarterbacks that were also drafted in the 4th round that never saw the light of day. Okay, they're littered. It's hard. They don't know, but you don't ever know.
Yeah.
I think the Texans, I kind of feel like they did, because it seemed like if we believe that people were trying to trade for C.J. Stroud, and they were like, nah.
Yeah.
We're good.
This is our guy.
This is our guy.
What do you think? Yeah. I'm just saying, 2021 draft, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance were the top 3 picks, just like what we're talking about this year. Trevor Lawrence is the only one that's still there. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, goodbye.
And Trey Lance has really never even touched the field.
No, not really.
Never really touched the field.
Got the injury. He's gone. These are the players just in the immediate after that. These are some of the guys. Jamar Chase went number 5. You don't think Jamar Chase would be,
but
Micah Parsons.
Well, hold on. But would Jamar Chase be Jamar Chase without Joe Burrow? No.
To this degree,
the answer is no.
No. Would he still be explosive and electric? I would say yes.
Yeah,
now,
but not to the degree.
To this degree, I probably not. No, probably not. But when you look at the Micah Parsons, the Penei Sewells, these are guys that would have been huge players to those other franchises that decided to swing and a mess on the quarterback. I understand. I get it. I really do get it. Like I said, I'm just having a hard time if you are passing up on what seems to be a sure thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. and taking a flyer, essentially a very expensive flyer, with one of these, with Drake May.
Who's going to throw to him?
I understand.
Chicago.
I understand. I got you.
I mean, once they traded Justin, look, the 2 teams that we're talking about in the top 3, they traded their starter away, their 1st round pick that didn't work. They don't have a choice. Once they made the move, you trade Mac Jones, you trade Justin Fields, you know they're drafting quarterback. Like, they've already made the decision. Washington had Sam Howell already gone, already traded him away.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't a high 1st round pick. I don't even remember when Sam Howell goes. Second round?
Yeah, but I don't think he was a 1st round.
No, I think he was what, 2nd round? Maybe 3rd?
Second or 3rd round guy. Yeah.
But they've already moved on.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand why they have to do it, I guess.
They've already told everybody, like, we're drafting a quarterback. Now, the question is, will Arizona then sprint to the podium, or will they get wooed by Minnesota or the Raiders or somebody back who also needs a quarterback and is willing to jump up at 4? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then what happens at 5 and 6?
It's just such.
What do the Chargers do?
Such a brutal thing.
I can't imagine that the Chargers, like, I know the whole J.J. McCarthy thing. Jim Harbaugh, he's pumping up his guy. Like, I get all that.
He's not going to take J.J. McCarthy.
No, of course he's not. But he's just pumping up his guy, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the guy who just won a national championship for him.
Sure.
Okay, so he's pumping up his guy. You lose Keenan Allen, and you lose Mike Williams. You're drafting a wide receiver.
You would think.
You are.
You would think.
You drafted. You lost Austin Eckler, but you're not going to take a running back at 5. So you're drafting a wide receiver. I just can't imagine that they. I know, it's tempting. You never. Jim Harbaugh loves offensive linemen. Okay, don't get me wrong, but they need a wide receiver.
You know, like I do, these GMs, they talk themselves into all. We have seen over the years GMs talk themselves into all kinds of things. And so, should they take a wide receiver? They probably should. Would it surprise me even a little bit that they didn't take a wide receiver and went with it? Would not shock me at all. Because, again, that groupthink in that room, we don't know what's swirling around in there. We don't know what owner, has said something to somebody. There's a lot of crazy things that happen on draft day or draft weekend that can influence a pick here. So they should take a wide receiver, though. That only makes sense. But there's a lot of things that don't make sense that happen on draft day all the time.
All right, we'll step away. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
And now, Veterans Restoration is proudly saluting our troops and veterans. Please visit DAV.org and consider donating to the disabled U.S. veterans who need our help. This message is brought to you by Veterans Restoration, serving Middle Tennessee with over 20 years of experience. For residential or commercial, fire, water, or storm damage restoration, give the pros a call today at 615-838-8407. 615-838-8407. That's Veterans Restoration. They're professionals who care.
It's JB and the General.
You're 6'9" for Joe Alton and ran a good 40. 5:04, I believe was.
I think I saw a little bit of his work. It looked like he was moving around pretty well.
Looked good. I will say this though: Chargers at 5, he's going to play right tackle for them. So if he makes it past then, maybe you can get him to the Titans at 7. But apparently he's not making it past number 5.
Really?
So it is unfortunate.
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
The McFarland Show, broadcasting live in Rutherford County on 107.9 FM.
Hard to believe today, 20 years ago, was the sad, sad story of the passing of Pat Tillman being killed in combat.
Yeah. Boy.
That's been 20 years ago today.
Man, I'm sorry. Just when you say that, Pat, the story of Pat Tillman is such a mouthful. It is such a interesting, tragic, heroic, all those things combined, tragic story. All of those things at the same time. And for those of you who aren't quite old enough, this is in the synopsis. Pat Tillman was he a linebacker or safety? He was a defensive player, special teams player.
Safety.
Was he a safety? Mm-hmm. Yeah, at times, some of the time, he looked big enough to be a
linebacker.
He was a big safety
he was a
at
big
that.
Dude.
But the safety for the Arizona Cardinals, after the events of 9/11, stopped playing football and joined the service.
Army, I think it was the Army Rangers.
Believe so. Was in the Army Rangers.
Went over to Afghanistan.
Went over to Afghanistan and was killed, by what is believed to be friendly fire. Killed by his own men in a tragic situation that happened over there. And there are awards named in his honor. There are statues up of him. The Arizona Cardinals have permanent patches and other memorials to him and his service, and just takes you back to a different time and place. This is a guy who did not have to stop his life of playing professional football. He chose to because he felt that call of duty and to go do something bigger at a time where the country was feeling very, very vulnerable after the September 11th terror attack. And Pat Tillman, by the way, is not the only person who stopped his life to join the military at that point. There were thousands.
He was just the most famous.
Yeah, he's just one of the most famous to do it. There are thousands of people who did the same thing, both men and women, black and white, Hispanic, across all races and ages, who did the exact same thing. But Pat Tillman is certainly someone who comes to mind for sure when you think about that particular period of time and people who stopped their lives to do something they didn't have to do at that particular moment.
I also saw over the weekend Howie Schwab. Remember Stump the Schwab?
Sure.
ESPN?
Yeah.
He died over the weekend.
Oh, man.
63 years old.
Oh, man. Stump the Schwab.
I've interviewed him many times.
You have?
Over the years, yeah.
Man. It's sort of the Ken Jennings of, if you know that, from Jeopardy.
Yeah.
He was that of the sports world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew randomly everything off the top of his head. I think Stuart Scott hosted that show.
Mm-hmm, he did.
And, you had these random Joes who thought they knew everything about sports coming along and trying to stump the Schwab. And they realized very quickly, I know my particular pocket of sports, but I don't know all the things this guy knows. He was something else. He really was. He was something to watch.
Well, he was a guy that was behind the scenes forever. Like, everybody in Bristol knew who he was, right? Because he was responsible for so much material and so much that they would put out on the air, but nobody knew that it was coming from him until they decided to obviously shed light on it.
Yeah.
And he, again, had the show.
Yeah.
Then he became a household name, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool reference. I didn't think about Ken Jennings. That's good. The Jeopardy guy.
Yeah, the Jeopardy guy, who won all those games in a row,
And he was just that guy for sports.
Yeah.
And just knew crazy trivia.
Things.
Yeah.
Like, how in the world would you know that?
Yeah.
And have that committed to memory? It was almost to the point where you thought it was rigged, but it wasn't. It was very, very, real, the amount of things he kept in his head about sports, all sports, too. I mean, there was not an area of sports where he didn't seem to have a really good handle on that he could name the most random things. Like, you asked me last week who was on deck for Hank Aaron and and the historic home run, back on April the 8th, I guess. And and I said Dusty Baker, and that's correct. But the difference is the Schwab could name the entire lineup for both teams.
Yeah.
Including the starting pitcher, the losing pitcher, final score, how many hits, runs, and errors each team had, and the starting lineup for that whole team that whole night, and maybe even how many hits, each team. I mean, it's
It's not because he was looking at his phone.
No.
Or he did a Google search.
No.
No, he just knew it.
He just knew it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's really, a different time of life.
Well, again, going back to when he was doing all this behind the scenes stuff, we didn't have all the technology.
No.
That we have to, this was still newspapers, magazines.
You know what you had to do to go find some of this stuff before?
Yes, I know, because I did shows in the 90s.
The sports almanacs.
We did scores by ripping off the wire from AP.
Man.
That's how we got scores.
Yeah.
The first real show that I did was called, ironically, or maybe it was Tonight in Baseball. Tonight, was it? Wasn't Baseball Tonight. Maybe it was Tonight in Baseball.
Tonight in Baseball.
From 10 to midnight.
Okay.
And a lot of times it was following Indians games
Yeah.
in Cleveland.
Sure.
And we would, so you're getting as all, you're doing a show when all these games are final or they're playing games out on the West Coast. And the only way you could get scores to pass along was to go in the copy room and rip AP wire. That's how we got the scores.
Yeah.
It was either that or you'd have to find it on a crawler on television.
Well, it was also
that was hard to find.
You had to have your recall, like for that example. If you're doing an Indians, game, and the Cleveland Indians, before they changed the name, obviously, if you're doing Indians games during that particular time, and somebody called and they wanted to know if Kenny Lofton was in a slump compared to how he was 2 years ago, how would you get Kenny Lofton's batting average from 2 years before? There's no internet. How do you get that? Either you know it off the top of your head. Well, Kenny Lofton hit this in 93 and he hit this in 92. Either you have to know that or you have to go find your sports almanac or media guide or some other thing to be able to dial that up. Like you had to have that kind of stuff on recall if you were going to discuss sports during that day and age. You really had to recall those numbers quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I was around middle school ball kids this weekend, and I was so proud of a 12-year-old I had a conversation with this weekend. He told me his favorite player in Major League Baseball was Omar Vizquel, and I about teared up. I'm like, you're 12. Like, he's been retired for how long? Like, that is so impressive because
10, 15 years.
They get everything from YouTube and so it's just all current, and it's the biggest names possible in the sport, right? Bryce Harper, Ohtani, the biggest names in the sport. He told me his favorite player was Omar Vizquel, and I literally wanted to hug him. I was so impressed.
That's awesome.
All right, we'll step away for the final time, come back and put a bow on Monday's edition of The McFarland Show right here on WNSR.
And now, Frankenstein Custom Paint and Body is reminding motorists to slow down on our roadways and keep an eye out for motorcycles and never drink and drive. This message is brought to you by locally owned and operated Frankenstein Custom Paint and Body, our full-service body shop. So give the pros a call today at 615-593-5699. 615-593-5699. That's Frankenstein Custom Paint and Body, going the extra mile for safety. They're professionals who care.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts, from the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. there is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Flight 777 to Funtown with continued service to Wintersville is ready to board. Please make sure you have your new instant game tickets from the Tennessee Lottery in hand, and thank you for choosing game-changing fun.
With chances to win up to $500,000, you'll be flying first class to cash prizes with our new instant games. Hurry to your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer to get on board today. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen. He smokes another one. He lit the fuse on this bomb, and that's gone.
Listen to every pitch live, exclusively on your home for Atlanta Braves baseball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Rolling along, almost out of here on this Monday. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Get you ready for game 2 and be a little bit closer to round 1 of the NFL draft. Back here on the McFarland Show. Some news here locally. Tragic story where a young lady who I actually talked to the coach of her at Smyrna when they went to St. Louis for what? Volleyball tournament.
Yeah.
She unfortunately lost her legs.
She did.
Because she got pinned in between two cars. Is that right?
We're talking about Janae Edmondson.
Yes.
Janae Edmondson is the young lady who was going to Smyrna High School, lost her legs in a crash while she was on the sidewalk there in St. Louis, was up there for a volleyball tournament. A young man named Daniel Riley was driving the car, and he should have never been out of jail, come to find out. He was out and released on something he probably should have been released for. The district attorney up there had to resign because of that.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Because he shouldn't have been out of jail. He shouldn't have been out of jail, according to all the officials up there. But he was out. He was driving without a license and ended up hitting Janae Edmondson. She lost her legs. Now Mr. Daniel Riley has been sentenced. He's getting 18 years in prison for that particular accident. And, of course, Janae Edmondson has gone on to believe she's at MTSU assisting on their volleyball team, sort of a manager and that kind of a role. So she'll continue on with her life. She's also got prosthetics, and is able to kind of, walk in her own way. And so it just kind of brings an end to a very sad, tragic story there from St. Louis. But, yeah, it's over now. He'll spend the next 18 years in prison.
She was a heck of an athlete. She played multiple sports.
Yeah.
Well, that's 18 years. And you said the DA stepped down?
In St. Louis, yeah. DA had to step down because there's a lot that goes into it,
All right, that's going to do it for us. Again, we'll be back at it tomorrow with a lot to delve into on this busy sports week. We're excited about it. Have a great rest of your Monday. Good news is it'll get a little bit warmer tomorrow. We'll be back on at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.